Can you hear me? Earth to Man Shark. Got it. Yeah, now. Sweet. All right. Excellent. Well, hopefully everyone had a great time over on the Vane stream. We got to see Beat do Beat things, which was great. Always a good time. Today, what we're going to be looking at is CPL preseason, week number 2, group number 7. Thanks for the follows, guys. Really appreciate it. We have a bunch of participants. There's going to be 5 different participants. We have races spanning all, Zerg, Protoss, and Terran are all going to be represented. We have Indo, we have Dead Dumble, Iron V666, Peru, and Flash Jr., who, don't worry, isn't actually Flash's kid. It's Flash for the Wins kid. And so we'll get to see his Terran being played. And so without further ado, let's just jump into it. We have our first game, which is going to be Dead Dumble versus Iron V666. We are playing on Vermeer in week 2. And so let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm stalling because I'm trying to click the right buttons. And look at that. Oh my gosh, we have it. It's all working. Excellent. So let's get this show on the road. Right now, we are on Vermeer. Let's see if Shift Tab works. It does. We didn't use map settings. We actually used wonderful, wonderful top versus bottom. Thank you, Indo. We're going to see, we're going to watch your games. It's going to be a good time. So up here in the top left, we do have our red Protoss, and that is Iron V666. And down in the bottom right, we've got Dead Dumble, our blue Zerg. Now, for any of these players, I don't have any idea what they play like. I don't know them. So if you are one of these players like Indo, maybe you can give us a little bit of a heads up of what we may be able to expect. But as we go through the 8 games that we have for this group, we'll be able to get some trends, and we'll be able to kind of see if there's any type of play patterns that they're going to be that we're going to be experiencing as we go. So right off the rip, we do have Iron V666 going down to the natural and getting a pylon. This does look like he'll probably be doing a Forge expand, something we see a lot of in Protoss versus Zerg. We've got Dead Dumble heading out to his natural as well. Looks like he's going to be... Was that a hatchery first? Yeah, dang, he might be going hatchery first here. We'll see what the scouting pattern is for Iron V66. We have a gateway going down first here at the natural. And we do have the probe out and scouting, but he's going to be heading up to the top right, not getting kind of the early notice here right across spawn that this hatchery is going to be going down first. Still no spawning pool for Dead Dumble. But yeah, overall very excited. Second pylon. Gateway is finishing up. And the Overlord as well is heading off to the bottom left. Still no drone scout being sent out at this time. So still in the dark as to where each opponent was spawned this match. But we do finally have the spawning pool coming up. Okay, so now we've got Iron. Oh, turning around. Nope, just juking around. He is going to be coming in here, and he's going to be seeing this hatchery. Now, I'm not sure entirely on the timings or Iron's awareness of the timings here, but he's not going up into the main yet. So not sure if he's going to be aware that this is a hatchery first or what the reaction is going to be. But upon identifying, we probably saw that probe pause because he was heading back to grab this zealot. Now, I was anticipating kind of a Forge expand going up here, but this might be a little bit of a reaction seeing that early hatchery, that he's just going to start pumping money straight into the zealots and charging across the map to Dead Dumble. So we're going to have the first zealot showing up here. Looks like he's going to be waiting for the second one before he commits. And with the spawning pool dome, we are going to start seeing a few lings. Only 2. The Dumble trying to get his drone count up. And here we go. Here comes the committal. So, probe, zealot, second zealot on the way. Holy cow, is this a third hatchery? We have a third hatchery going down for Dead Dumble. And a creep colony going down in the main. Here we go. We'll see if Iron V666 just starts going for the drones, or if he tries to knock out this creep colony. It's still a ways away from becoming a sunken. Now, the 4 Zerglings are going to struggle here against these zealots. Sunken, about a third of the way done. But Iron V666 is just going for the drones. Now the drone's making this kind of messy. We have one Zealot bouncing back and forth, doing his rave thing. We got the Sunken done. This should help him stabilize. Okay, the Zealot is dead. And so now, where are we at? We've got a Sunken in the main. We've got, what is this? Oh, that looked like a lot less drones. So he still has 10 drones in the main. Did take some damage there, though. Nothing here at the natural yet, but it is up. And a third base going down for Dead Dumble. Now let's go take a peek over here at Protoss. So after the initial Zealots, we have the Forge. We have a cannon, right? It looks like Iron might be playing a little bit hesitant, a little safe, preparing for a counterattack of sorts, and getting his economy online by transferring his probes. Okay, so we're kind of stabilizing into a normal game. I think if Iron doesn't capitalize on this lead, Dead Dumble may have a window of opportunity to come back here. If he starts droning heavily, he'll have that 3-hatch production right off the bat, and he can start sending units downfield. Oh my goodness, the Zealot partying here in the corner instead of fighting back. He might go down. No, he does take out those Zerglings, but he's going to be extremely wounded. So if that Zealot does get all the way into the main of Dead Dumble, that Sunken colony is going to make short work of him. Another colony being forced, which is doing damage to the drone count here, but it looks like Dead Dumble really kind of wants to just turtle up for the moment. We're not seeing any tech as of yet. Just a couple lings, Sunken here and there. These Zealots are going to clean up these lings real quick. See, there's that hurt Zealot. It's not going to last very long. Yeah, one Sunken hit, it's gone. And this one's going to struggle to get anything done. He's going to park it back there behind the minerals to be nice and annoying. The way Protoss is intended to be played. Another Sunken. So Dead Dumble really utilizing Sunkens as his primary means of defense here. Sending a couple lings over here, probably to clean up this Zealot. I don't know if this Sunken will be able to hit it. But these two should be able to knock it out if they get the surface area together. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so everything's cleaned up. Let's head back up here and see what Protoss is up to. So we do have +1 weapons underway. We have 4 Zealots hanging out at the natural. The economy is looking great, right? If you look up in the top right, we've got 31 probes to 17 drones. So right now, Iron is, I think, way ahead in the moment. Corsairs are going to be starting to get sent across the field. And without any type of Hydralisk defense, this Corsair might just get a ton of damage done on these Overlords. Overall, this is looking very strong for our Protoss player. Alright, here we are. The zapping has started. Telling this Overlord to get back in his doggy bed. Here we go, it's about halfway done. This Corsair is going to knock it out. Now, we do have the Hydra Den up. We don't have any Hydras morphing as of right now. Dead Dumble's sitting a little bit supply blocked. Very supply blocked with the death of that Overlord. And Iron is in a very strong position right now. He controls the skies. He's got this train of Zealots heading across the map. Right now, we do have some creep colonies. But that's not going to help if he remains supply blocked because of the Corsair damage. Alright, Zealots are getting on top of the creep colonies here at the third base. These are going to go down very fast. This is definitely a base that needs to be abandoned. We do have some Hydralisk morphing right now. There's only 4, though. But with 3 Sunkens, we'll see how the Zealots fare against the natural. Again, though, need to get these Corsairs out of here. He's doing a good job. Oh, the Hydralisk just barely don't get it. Now, there's going to be one... Oh, that's not a Hydralisk. Bummer. If it was, Dead Dumble might have had an opportunity to snipe one of these Corsairs. Get that supply under control, get some Hydralisks to defend, and stabilize from there. And up here in the production tab, I also want to point out, I mean, I know we got a fight going down here, but up here at Protoss, Iron's not sitting idle. He's getting DTs, baby. DTs, not only DTs, but he's researching Storm. So even if there is a crackback, an attempted, you know, like Hydralisk bust or something, Storm's going to be able to do a ton of work. Okay, so we have kind of stabilized against the Zealots against the natural, which we thought we would with the Sunkens. He needs to start getting this Hydralisk count up, though, and he needs to start getting a little bit of supply to work with. Now, he is moving Hydralisks across the field. He's parked them in the middle right now, but the reaction from Iron is he's looking for Overlords. He's kind of scouting around, seeing if there's an additional base up here. He didn't see anything, no creep. Oh, and the Hydralisks are going to get these Corsairs. Got one, knocked one down to about a little below half health. And let's see what's here for the defense. Oh my goodness, with the DTs, these Hydralisks don't stand a chance, and there's no Overlord following along. There's hardly any Overlords on the map, unfortunately. Okay, might be able to pick off some more of these Corsairs. They're sitting a little idle. Gets one. And let's see how this fight goes. Once he starts hearing those swooshes, he's got to fall back. Alright, he's kiting the Zealots a little bit as best as he can. Oh, man. DTs are so gross. The Invisible Men have entered the fight. And these Hydralisks are going to have to run away. Okay, let's go ahead and check on our Zerg player again. There's something red here. What is that? There's a Corsair. There's a Corsair chilling here in the far bottom right. You probably can't see it. It's like behind my shoulder. It's right there. There's a Corsair. Yeah, so that one's just chilling. Not sure what kind of vision it has. I guess I can see the mineral line. I can see this layer coming up. And so we are still pretty low on drone count, unfortunately, for Dead Dumble, sitting at 22. The supply is 35 to 100. So I'm trying to think, like, what is the way out here for Zerg? Really, I guess, kind of turtle up and get production up and running. There's definitely no opportunity to expand out on the map. His vision is being completely blacked out by the fact that there's Corsairs floating around. He can't sneak drones out with these DTs hanging out. And now we've got High Templar as well. And these do have Storm upgraded. Protoss taking their third. What is this, +1 armor? Yeah, +1 armor on the way. Yeah, overall, I'm really liking Protoss's position here. I'd say right now, without any sort of huge blunder from the Protoss side of things, this is their game to win, I think, at this point. Seeing in chat, what's blasting? Is there a volume issue? Alright, sitting right here. Corsairs, Hydralisks staring each other down. This push right here, this might be game ending. The Protoss is... Okay, here we go. The A move comes in. Corsair is going to snipe out this Overlord. The Storm! Oh my gosh! And there goes the third base. It just melted. Now you see it, now you don't. Great magic trick there, performed by Iron V666. And then this, okay, so if there is an engagement here, we need to be really careful, and we also probably need to utilize these Sunkens to the best of our ability, right? Because like storms are going to start dropping, and being pulled out isn't really what we want to see from the Zerg side. Here come the Corsairs, not only getting these Overlords, which can see the DTs, but tanking a few Hydralisk shots as well. This push just looks like too much. I'm not sure if Dead Dumble is going to be able to hold this. Oh, a storm on the drones! Our precious drones. Alright, and there's the GG. Dead Dumble has left the game. Alright, well that was a lot of fun. Okay, so let me go ahead and update the score here. We've got Iron V66 with that fat W. See? W. That's how we're going to dictate who wins and who loses. I suck at text on stream, so we're just going to knock it out that way. And then let's go into our next game. So our next game is going to be... Let's see if these are in order. So I'll try to do them in order. Let's do Iron versus Flash Jr. Flash for the wins, son. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so up here, Flash Jr., top right, blue Terran. In the bottom right, we have our red Protoss, Iron V666, who we just saw come off a hard-earned victory against, I forgot the name, Dead Dumble. Now, last time we saw Iron V66 do the Forge kind of expand, right? But what he opened with was Gateways straight into Zealot pressure. So we'll see if he does that against Terran, or if he has a different kind of strategy that he uses when he's facing up against Flash JR. Because a lot of times you'll see kind of the opening Dragoon kind of play, right? He'll throw down a Gateway, get the Cybernetics Core, and then kind of go Gateway Explosion and pick your tech from there. But we also saw Iron really favor both DTs and High Templar in the last match. And there may be some DT play that he can probably use against Terran as well. Or the High Templar is kind of an answer to tanks if he starts having to break positions. So we'll see what kind of build he goes for. Right here we've got Flash JR throwing down his first depot. We do have that initial Gateway. Obviously this time against Terran, it does look like Iron is opting to keep that in the main as opposed to going down to the natural. And he has a little bit of an earlier scout than last time. I think it's earlier. Maybe he did send it right after the Gateway. But he's going to be potentially last scouting, as he was doing a circular scout pattern against Dead Dumble. Okay, we do have the gas. This leads me to believe he'll throw down that Cybernetics Core and get some goons up. Standard Depot Barracks gas from our Terran player. Now, our Terran player still hasn't sent out a scout. Normally by now, normally around like 13-ish supply, you'll often see the Terran move out and start scouting the map. It looks like he's using the SCV that was constructing the barracks. And it does look like he'll get... we'll see which direction he goes. Alright, so he will be getting a first scout. And upon confirming where the Terran player was, it does look like we're going to be seeing some Zealot pressure. So first Zealot is heading straight up to the Terran base. We do have a probe down here in the natural. Kind of getting in the way of the SCV. Not a whole lot, though. Cybernetics Core about 2/3 of the way done. Then we'll start seeing some Dragoons. Second Zealot is on the way. And let's go ahead and see how Flash reacts to the Zealot. As a Terran player, I don't know. This early game Zealot is just such a pain in the butt and can get such lopsided value. Good block there by the SCV, allowing the Marines to get some good shots off. Oh, but the Zealot is closing the distance. Oh, but it's chasing this one. Now, if it chases that one, Flash can just run circles, and this guy will take care of it. Let's go ahead and see how we're doing on health for all these things. Okay, the probe being annoying does kill the SCV, but it does get the factory up. It's not blinking yet, neither is the barracks. So these two Marines are really all that's fighting this Zealot, and it does look like a second one is on the way. And so both these Marines are pretty banged up. And that's going to potentially be important as Iron gets the second one. So the second one is coming up now. And I think, you know, we saw Iron there at the last minute take control of his Zealot and kind of run it away up into the top right corner. But unfortunately, it was chasing for a long time. So maybe he's going to recognize that. There's no SCV blocking this time. Oh, he gets one of the Marines. Okay, Vulture is out, which means this Zealot pressure should be over. Right? You can just do some patrol moving. The probe goes down up here to the Marine. And this might be all she wrote for this Zealot. Boom. Done. Enter Dragoon. Stage right. Here it comes. One Marine. Where'd the Vulture go? Oh, there it is. It was stuck behind this Marine. See, this early game Protoss pressure, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Okay, so Flash opting to play defensively up in the main. Getting a bunker down. It's kind of an awkward spot. Trying to make this kind of the engagement area. Units will pop out, they can fight here, but the bunker's not going to be able to protect the ramp a whole lot. Okay, last Marine goes down, which is good target firing here from Iron. Knock those out. They're just so much DPS for how easy they are to kill. Trying to repair this Vulture, and there's no Marines to put in this bunker right now. Oh man, these Dragoons are just going to town over here. Oh, but he got the Marine in the bunker, but this is the problem with the bunker placement, is that these Dragoons are just going to run away from it. Okay, we do have a tank coming, but there's already at least 3 Dragoons, you know, in the vicinity. This is looking rough. This is looking rough for Terran. He's going to start losing a lot of SCVs here. Trying to get the Marine down towards the bunker. The tank comes out, but it's too far away from SCVs to get repaired. Does get one of the Dragoons, though. And the SCVs are starting to join the fight, but the tank gets sniped. And all the SCVs are chasing this guy. Okay, so they do get redirected. And the Marines have decided to join the fray. Absolute chaos in Flash's base. And that's the GG. There it is. Thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Okay, excellent. Let's go check out our scorecard. And so Iron appears to be one of the dominant players in this group. Already, we've watched 2 of his games, and he has won both of them, sitting at 2-0. Go ahead and update that. Boom. All right, let's go into our next match. This next match is going to be Iron versus Peru, which I believe is a Protoss player. I mean, we're going to see here in just a second. Thank you, 9K. All right, Iron versus Peru. It's a PvP, which I've heard is the most interesting of all mirror matches. Oh, I should probably show you guys the game, huh? Let's do that. Hey, there's the game. Iron, looking good in his red again, is sitting here in the bottom right. Pepperu, also known as Peru, is our blue Protoss in the bottom left. So we saw... So I'm curious how this one's going to go. Again, Iron, we've just happened to watch several of his games in a row. And so we've got a little bit of a feel for his playstyle against both Zerg and Terran. Now we're going to get to see him against Protoss. And I think based on last game, we had a couple of micro snafus with like the Zealots and the early pressure and stuff. And I think that this matchup especially can be decided in the early game by how that Zealot versus Zealot and Dragoon versus Dragoon micro goes. You know, barring any type of strange cheese that may occur, but don't expect any cheese really in CPL preseason. But we'll see how it goes. Both players getting their pylons down, building probes, taking a nap. Gateways for both players. Look at this. Mirror matches. Amazing. All right, Iron's heading left. Peru's heading right. Probe's about to high five. Hey, what's up? Yeah, for Ire. In the shadows. Okay, so gateways finishing up. Second gateway here from Iron. Second gateway from Peru. Okay, so both players opting to play a little bit aggressive, which I think is safe, because if one does and you don't, and you know the other person's going to scout right towards you, you're going to need to be playing catch-up. Looks like Peru's just going to park his pylon here. Not pylon, probe. And both players building zealots. Ooh, Peru's probe almost getting knocked out. Has to go run for the hills. It's being chased down. I'm calling it now. This probe's going to head all the way back, and it's going to get hit by this guy. All right, now Iron is looking to put the pressure on early. Now, I'm wondering, like, what I feel is that the defender here definitely has the advantage. You already have defender's advantage. It's a mirror matchup. I feel like the person that applies a ton of pressure first needs to really get some damage in early with superior micro or tactics. Otherwise, they're just going to be overwhelmed by the production being so close to where the fight is occurring. So I actually like Peru holding back a little bit here, and just kind of holding what he has while he techs up, gets his cybernetics core, and waits for some sort of timing or trigger where he feels that he can move out. But Iron's not just running in there with one zealot either. He's getting his own group, and right now he's got the superior force on the field. He's got 3 zealots and a probe, and this zealot running around being body blocked a little bit is going to be pretty bad for Peru. All right, both players chopsticking each other. Okay, okay, so now Peru is on the run. He's got his 1 zealot running back, but this is where that defender's advantage is going to go. Oh no, I don't think there were zealots building. Oh man, he might have missed a little bit of production during that fight. Right now, Iron, our 2-0 Protoss hero, might be running straight into... I keep wanting to call him Pepperu because that's his thing here, but I know Peru is kind of like his tag. He's just going to romp right through this base. Okay, we've got 2 zealots popping. Oh, just 1. This one's still lagging a little bit behind. And this one's just being bullied here. Oh, this is looking bad for Peru. Okay, Iron opting to take out this pylon. If this pylon goes down, that's GG right there. And that's it, right? Unpowered. There's no reinforcements coming. This zealot is alone and very afraid. Now, all these probes, you know, probes being super smart workers, they're trying to do what they can. Their little cattle prods or whatever. A whole stream of more zealots is coming into this base. I think that's it, guys. I think Iron has secured his 3rd victory in this group. GG. And great fight by Peru there as well. I think if there was just those zealots building in that moment when that big fight was happening, I think that was actually Peru's fight to win. So, good times. Watching Protoss beat up Protoss. Someone's got to do it. Might as well be Protoss doing it. All right. We've got that. All right, so we're already 3 games down. We've got 5 more to go. The next one is going to be Peru versus Flash. So we've got another Protoss versus Terran coming up. Let's go ahead, and I have to open up that replay. I only quickly saw it, but I think Iron's APM was like 250 or something that game too. Who is it? It's Peru versus Flash. Do it. Do the thing. Oh, there we go. Alrighty, Flash, our red Terran in the top right, Peru, our blue Protoss in the bottom right. Now, we saw Flash play against Iron. We saw how he kind of tried to defend that early pressure. Iron was able to really just use and steamroll Flash, unfortunately, in that last match, right? He sent his initial Zealot and just kept trickling units in, one after the other, until he just had a Dragoon force that was too much for Flash to fight. So we'll see how this goes this time, because I think Flash's build got pretty disrupted by that. He was going... I think, you know, when that Zealot hit, he had his 1 barracks, and then he had to start fighting and running around with his SCVs. He had a couple Marines. Then he was able to throw down a factory just as the second Zealot was showing up, and start Vulture production. He opted to get a 2nd factory and a bunker after that. And so I think that's where things kind of changed in his game plan. That, I don't think, was the intent. Maybe he was going to go a 2-fact build, and he was sticking to it. But with the pressure, it was a little bit too much. This round, we're seeing him go for a wall. So he's building his first supply depot down here at the natural. And this might be in response to that pressure. I don't remember what the order these games occurred in. But this might actually help a good amount. Now, one thing he needs to be cognizant of is if the Zealots just run by it, right? Like there are holes. You have the eggs. You have the barracks left side. I think this is actually, yeah, this right here I think is a hole. And so if there's only like one Marine here, 2 Marines, if that Zealot shows up, the Zealot might just be able to run right through and start attacking workers. But Peru isn't going to get a first scout, which I think will be helpful for Flash's case. Alright, Cybernetics core is down for our Protoss player. He's going to start getting gas now. No Zealot as of yet. He's still mining some money. We'll see if he uses it. Not looking like it. Okay, so he might just be waiting for going straight into initial Dragoons. Alright, we're getting our gas here for Flash. He should be able to throw down a factory here. And here it comes. Yeah, this has to be the factory. There we go. Okay, so we've got a factory. We've got our barracks. He's pumping out a second Marine. I think he's feeling pretty safe. Now, the unfortunate thing is when he played Iron, he was dealing with early Zealots. And I think that led him to try to build this wall. But what's going to happen is we're going to have Dragoons. I think it's likely, right, that Peru's going to go for an early range upgrade. And, yeah, there it is. There's the range upgrade. And he's going to be able to sit here and just pepper this barracks and this supply depot forever. And it does look like Flash has stopped at 2 Marines. No bunker as of yet. And getting his expansion up. So this is good. His expansion is going up nice and early. He should be getting... We'll see what he ends up building initially out of his factory. If he goes Vulture or if he starts going immediately into Siege. No one on gas yet. They're still off after the expansion was thrown down. So probably not tanks. Okay, and we just saw a Vulture get started. Alright, Peru kind of gathering up here at the top of his ramp. He did this against Iron as well. Kind of got to the tech he wanted and just started kind of building up his force, his main army right here. We'll see if there's a point where... Okay, oh, he does have an expansion down. Okay, somehow I completely scrolled past that and missed it. Second factory being started. We have the machine shop going up. And we have 1 Vulture. And we've got a bunker. Okay, things are feeling good for our Terran player. I think he feels pretty safe at the moment. I think that would be a pretty good assessment. We'll see if he goes into tanks immediately following this, or if he builds a couple more Vultures. It's not uncommon to see, you know, 2 to 3 Vultures before any type of tank production. And I think the big indicator here will be what he decides to upgrade first. Okay, this Vulture, if it's not careful, is going to get completely wiped. Ah! The Vulture dies. Never a feel good. Getting another Marine. Bringing some SCVs down to the natural. And we're getting siege mode first. Okay, so he is going to opt to getting tanks, which I think is fine. He's going to get that up there on the high ground, and he'll be able to kind of shoo away these Dragoons. But you can see here how we were talking about the Dragoons with their range. They're going to sit here and just be able to pepper this front line of structures, which is super annoying. And yeah, this supply depot doesn't really have much of a chance of surviving. Yeah, there's not enough surface area for that third SCV to get in there. Oh, no. But the bunker will be able to hold here. He has the 3 SCVs. He can repair. But then he has to do that annoying dance of like, oh, it's done. Let me re-repair. Because this happens all the time. Siege mode just about to finish up, and once it does, we'll see this tank siege, and we'll likely see these Dragoons just run off. And there we go. The early game Dragoon dance is completed. Now, meanwhile, back on the Protoss base, we've got a Robo facility. Not seeing the tech that he's going into just yet. But I would imagine observatory. There it is. He'll start getting his observers out. Protect himself against the potential mines that'll get laid everywhere. And things are looking okay. Things are looking okay for both players. We lost the supply depot for Terran. But that's okay. Let's get those rebuilt up here somewhere. He's going in eBay. He's getting an armory. Another vulture does go down here towards the middle of the map. Now we've got the scanners. I haven't heard a scan. I don't know if I've missed it or not. It doesn't look like a scan has gone down yet. And we have mines researched. Okay, so he's being active with his vultures, which is great to see. Laying mines in the path to his base. So this is the point where Peru needs to wait for that observer to show up before he can really move out with confidence that he can, you know, clear those mines without taking damage. He could still probably just A-move it, but there's, you know, risk inherent in that. Looks like we might see these vultures get intercepted again. Maybe, maybe not. Another pair of mines being laid here in the path. He's going to go check out this this third base. Make sure it's clear. Now, it does look like about the time that Peru wants to take his third. So he's going to head over here. He's got lots of money. Lots of minerals here for Peru. So he'll likely be taking this expansion soon while the observer is checking this third base to see if Terran is expanded across the map at all. As far as army, we've got, you know, 6 Dragoons here, another 4 here. We haven't started mixing Zealots into the formation yet. Does look, oh, it looks like he went High Templar. Okay. So that's going to be kind of the siege-breaking tool of choice here for our Protoss player. We're getting a little bit... We're increasing our factory count. Ooh, okay, so we've got our starport, we've got our science facility. That'll help with upgrades. Right now, what are we sitting on? 0-0, but we've got +1 weapons being upgraded for our Terran army. And right now, we're not sitting with any upgrades yet for Protoss. Right now, the upgrade that's being researched is just Storm for the Templar. Okay, nice little move out of Vultures here. Looks like it might be able to sneak around. This would be really great for Flash, actually, if he can come down here and get to this third base. Which is exactly where I think he's heading. Now, nice, quick, easy response here from Protoss will be to bring these Dragoons over. What I'd like to see is a couple mines placed right there. Good job. Love to see it, Flash. Oh, but what's he doing? Okay, I like this. Just mining up the entrance to the natural. He's going to poke away. Opting not to sit there with his vultures for too long and pepper the Nexus. It does take a really long time. But instead keeping an eye on potential reinforcements. Oh no! And these vultures, they're out of mines. I'm wondering if he's running them up there. Oh, he has them control grouped with these other ones. Okay, so it looked like he was about to do a push, right? He mines off that area outside the natural. That helps cut off the reinforcements, right? And then that allows the Terran to kind of sandwich the small army that's out here on the map, right? He can sandwich this between the tanks and then the mines that are here. Now, those mines are being cleared. Path of reinforcements is back up and running. But I think that was kind of the school of thought that Flash was looking to execute. I want to see him pull these tanks back to safety. Alright, we've got double starport. And we've got a physics lab. Everyone knows what that means. Oh, BCs, baby. Big BCs. Okay, so still remaining on 4 factories at the moment. We're going double armory. So he's going to start using, you know, the fact that we have the science facility to start really getting those upgrades, which is very important here for our Terran player. We do have a shuttle, and it looks like we have the tools necessary to start doing some storm drops. And on that point, let's look at the anti-air here, because naturally, every Terran that faces off against Protoss, especially at this level, Needs to keep an eye out for those recalls, right? Or Reaver drops or DT drops. Looks like we have 2 turrets in the main, 1 here at the natural. So a little light on air defense. I don't see any Goliaths on the field as of yet either. I also want to point out, as far as upgrades, Terran is upgrading +1 space weapons and armor. Space plating. The Flyers are going to get a boost. And we do have a couple more turrets going down. It's like he was listening. Right now, both players just kind of turtling up, just building up their force. This group of Dragoons right here has gotten a good amount of value for Peru. Just sniping vultures as they come through. Now, Flash has caught on to that and decided just to go around this wall. Might be able to sneak in here. Might get some damage if he places some decent mines getting these Dragoons, but I think he might just go exploring and keep an eye on whether or not the Protoss has taken a 4th. Okay, so we do have the mines going down, but they get shot, right? So I mean, this isn't like a push-in that you really expect a ton of damage. Does get a goon though. It always feels really good. Not goons don't, gooning doesn't, whatever. The mine got the goon. All right, and he still has additional mines that he can place out on the map before the vultures basically just become paperweights. All right, we have our Terran taking his 3rd base, opting for this one at the 12 o'clock as opposed to the triangle 3rd. Vultures smartly avoiding that group of Dragoons. And we do have some scans going off. So where's he scanning? He's not scanning that or that. Where did he scan? Oh, he's scanning the main. Okay, so he sees Templar Tech. He sees a bunch of gateways. And that's basically the big amount of information that he was able to glean from that. And we have the Dragoons moving forward. All right, so the Observer has linked up with this group of Dragoons, and they're doing a little bit of a mine clearing operation. Just getting a little bit more visibility of this space here. And that's actually, this small shift from this elevated piece of terrain down here to the low ground might actually do a really good job of catching some vultures running around the map, right? Because this has been the main path that Flash has been using to kind of harass the 3rd base for Protoss. So instead, Flash, he scanned after those mines were eliminated, saw that the Dragoons were moving forward, decided to go out there, lay some mines, kind of slow down the movement, keep eyes on this force, and is now moving his tanks out. Wow, look at the range on that thing. To start kind of pushing them back even further. Yo, Man Dog, thanks for the follow, bro. And here comes the storm drop. Okay, so this is juicy for some storms. We'll see if he's going to be able to get up there and hit those tanks with it, or if he wants to use it to harass the workers. Now, earlier we were looking at the air defense for Flash. It was a little bit lacking, but he's since bolstered it, right? And so now it's not very safe for drops. I would say even hostile for these drops. Look at this. We got 4 BCs, lots of energy. I didn't see if Yamato was researched, but these BCs are upgraded, right? We've got ship plating. We've got the lasers upgraded. Flash is waiting for a big push out with these big battle cruisers. Both players have a good amount of bank. Both players just chilling right now. Okay, we got another shuttle. Ooh, a little bit of a move out here from these vultures, scanning ahead, trying to get these mines just cluttering up the field. I'm curious what the moment, like what the decision point is for Flash on sending these BCs out. Maybe as a retaliatory thing, like after an engagement has started, he wants to come in and kind of clean it up with those. Or if he's gonna, where did they go? Here they are. Or he's gonna park them over here at the 3 o'clock. And keep an eye out for any drops or potential observers. Or not observers, arbiters. Okay, so this third base has just now been identified by Peru. I wouldn't be surprised if this triggers a reaction, some sort of push to try to keep the Terran limited onto 2 bases. But we'll have to see. BCs, they're getting antsy. I see them moving every now and then. Flash wants to use them. But I don't know. He can't just... I don't think he can just, you know, bebop them in without any type of ground support. We do have 6 of them right now. And let's see what kind of defenses we've got. We've got High Templar, right? We've got Dragoons. Gateway count's kind of low right now. It's probably why Peru's banking a little bit. He doesn't have the production up to keep up with it. But I think if the BCs could do some pretty gnarly damage if they come in unexpectedly. And especially if there's an engagement where a lot of these Dragoons get knocked out from the tanks, right? So like what could happen here is that Peru could push in with the Zealot Dragoon force, right? The Dragoons, they take a ton of the hits from these tanks. Their numbers get low. The Zealots, they'll probably go in, clean everything else up. But then the counter move to that counter move is going to be the BCs coming in and just cleaning up house. But right now, it's not a committed engagement from the Protoss. Just lost a couple units while Flash is slowly moving up down the field. And this spot is particularly important for our Terran player because this is what's going to allow him to take this base. If he can kind of seal off this upper right quadrant of the map, then he'll be sitting pretty with 4 mining bases. Oh my gosh, he's committing with some Zealots here. Does get a tank, but he loses the shuttle. Alright. And the dust is settled. Where are we at? Oh no, don't trickle those in. I don't know if those were just aggroed or if he wanted to move them up for some reason. But we need to be careful here as Protoss. This is a dangerous spot, especially if it starts getting a little bit more mined up, like it is. Now I'm curious when this is going to be taken, because I feel like this is about the opportunity that, or the time that you would want to do that with this set up the way it is. Oh my gosh, look at this flank from the vultures. I don't think that was necessarily like an offensive flank, but more of a just checking if they're still there, right? Seeing what's there, seeing what he's working with, getting some mines right here in the path of reinforcements, which he's done before. So this is a good play pattern that we're seeing here from Flash. Almost gets the snipe on that High Templar, but not quite. Gonna come in here. Is he gonna finish the job? He's not. The Dragoons are gonna push away these vultures. And you gotta love the pathing. And that vulture is just like, hey, what's up, Dragoons? Ooh, nice mine hit. Let's go take a check on our Air Force here. We've got 9 battle cruisers, 3 more being produced. We haven't looked at the bases in a while because there's been so much action going on here in the middle. But it looks like the starport count has increased. But look at this. Here we go. Slowly, but we're going. Ladies and gentlemen, set a course for something. Getting a bunch of probe kills, and here we go. Okay, the Dragoons are showing up. Now this is going to draw all of the remaining army from Protoss to this spot. And it's already going to be a tough fight, right? But if this fight does go well for the Protoss, this is the great opportunity for Terran to start grabbing up space, right? It's a little bit APM intensive, but if he can micro these, keep them alive, continue to wipe it. Oh my gosh, what's he Yamatoing? The deadest of High Templar. Then Terran can grab up space, right? That was the point I was trying to get. Is he could take that ground army, he can take all those tanks that are chilling up here and start just putting the stranglehold on Protoss. Oh man, we got some DTs in the mix, and if Terran's not careful or doesn't hear the swooshes and doesn't scan, these can do a good job of taking out these tanks. Oh, but he does get the scan down. And he knocks out the DTs. Okay, this is looking to be a lot of Terran for our Protoss player to handle right now. And there it is. There's the GG. The game had me sitting on the edge of my seat for like half of it. Both players just building up. Let's go ahead and let's mark our scoreboard. So Peru lost and Flash Jr. won. All right. Sweet. So we're starting to get a little bit of separation here, right? We have Iron V666, who is 3-0 at this point and probably feeling great, right? 4-0 is the best you can do in these groups with the 5 players. And we're going to see him up next against Indo. We have Flash JR, who's kind of sitting in the middle of the pack right now with a 1-1 record. We've got Peru sitting at 0-2, and we'll get some more of his matches coming up here as well. But next up, we've got... Oh, I need to save this so that you can see it, right? Yeah, there we go. Next up, we've got Dead Dumble versus Indo. So let's get right into that one. Okay, excellent. This is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg. We have not yet seen in this group, so it should be a good time. Here we go, Dead Dumble. Up in the top right. Indo, the bottom left. Indo, no spoilers. Seen you texting in the chat. I know you're around. Oh. Yeah, the new meta from last game is mass BCs and then micro like mutas. I just really love to see High Templar get Yamato'd. I think that that's an underrated, interaction that we don't get to see as often as we nearly should. We really should. All right, so the key point here that I want to keep an eye on is variations in this mirror match, right? Variations in the build. When each player gets their spawning pool, when each player decides to go, their first overlord. Right now they're both sitting at 9 supply, so this is about when we're going to want to see change differences. Okay, so we got Indo with an overlord. And we've got Dead Dumble with a spawning pool. All right, so that's our first variation. So we're going to have earlier lings potentially here from Dead Dumble. Still waiting on the spawning pool here from Indo. Coming up any moment. Okay, Indo is droning up heavily. Little greedy. Little greedy. He's sitting at 12 supply now. Is he going to go for a hatchery? Or is this for a scout? Hatchery first. Okay, so there's an opportunity coming up here from Dead Dumble to run across the map with Zerglings and get some decent damage done. Now, one of the things that Dead Dumble isn't going to really have, in his brain is where Indo is, right? Because we have the Overlord over here in the top left. We'll have an idea of where he's at, or that he's not there. But he still doesn't know where on the bottom of the map his opponent is. So he's not going to be able to be, there's kind of a coin flip here on where he sends these lings. Because there was no drone that went out to scout. He's also decided to take his natural. And we'll see how Indo's early economic build kind of shapes out. Right now, he's getting a pretty significant income boost with having 5 more drones than Dead Dumble. But he has no army. And here comes the lings. So we'll keep an eye on where these guys end up going. Now, if they go bottom left, this could do some serious damage, I think. Now, Dead Dumble is also getting Zergling speed. Now, Indo's going to have Zerglings up by the time he gets there. He's got a few morphing. He'll have 2 popping out here at the main. And then these 4 will arrive, and then he'll outnumber Indo when the next 4 pop up. So he's gonna hold back, it looks like. All right, he's going to come in from the side. Oh, man. Zergling on Zergling action, everybody. Oh! The Dumble does run away. He doesn't lose any. Neither player losing any Zerglings. And I think this is the moment where Indo is actually going to really gain an advantage from his earlier decisions. Because since that didn't do any damage, he just had so much time of mining with more workers. A little bit of a high risk, high reward situation. So now we're going to have the defender's advantage. Now he's going to have more Zerglings than Indo. And speed just upgraded. Okay, so now we've got speedlings versus slowlings. Oh my gosh. Let's wait. Let's see what happens after the puddle. Okay, big puddle of Zergling guts. And now we're going back across the map, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on the other side of the map, though, Indo is going up to lair. And he's also walling off a little bit. He's getting a third hatchery, and he's getting a creep colony. So, not many Zerglings here, but if he can hold off this this harassment, he should be okay. Now, this sunken is gonna go down. It goes down. That's actually a pretty big win here for Dead Dumble, but he loses all those lings. And so here we go, right back across the map. Now, it does look like Dead Dumble is getting his own pair of Sunkens. But these aren't going to be done in time. He's getting 5 pairs of Zerglings. Gosh, ZVZ is just chaotic. Oh no! Indo Zerglings show up right like as they're hatching and is able to attack them piecemeal like that. Okay, good. Kind of making the numbers matter less by being up here on the ramp, and that is going to close him down here next to these Sunkens. But him coming up into the main, it's only 2 Zerglings, but they might be able to get 1 or 2 drones off this. Maybe more if the drones don't fight. So there's 1. Okay, now the Zerglings are up here and they're going to clean up. Okay, so loses 1 drone in that whole exchange. Now that puts Dead Dumble 11 to 16 drones compared to Indo. Now, Indo is rebuilding his creep colony, and he's getting a Spire. Now, a Spire can be absolutely GG if there's no response here from Dead Dumble, right? Dead Dumble needs either his own Spire, which is going to be far, far behind. He needs Hydralisks, or even in a weird case, right, like a Spore colony, maybe? You never see that, but, like, there's no anti-air, is my point. This Spire's about done. Okay. Where are we at? Lair. 2 additional hatcheries. Handful of Zerglings. Bigger handful of Zerglings. Less drones, but only by 3. So it looks like Dead Dumble's taking this time to drone up and work on his Spire. Now, the Spire is almost essentially an entire Spire build time behind Indo. And I think if Indo gets these Mutalisks out and runs them straight across the map, I don't think that there's anything Dead Dumble can do. Yo, Crimson Joe, what's up? Oh man. Okay, so he's not racing them across the map, which right now I feel like Indo needs to be doing, but that's with us with perfect information, right? He doesn't know if there's a whole fleet of Scourge just sitting here waiting or something crazy, or a whole pack of Hydralisks. He hasn't been up in the base in a while. All right, 3rd hatchery is going down for Dead Dumble. The Muta count is growing. So even if this does hit later, right? So like Dead Dumble's Spire is about to finish. He doesn't have the minerals right now to really have an immediate Mutalisk like surge, right? He can't like spike his Mutalisk numbers super fast. So even then, like hitting with this many Mutalisks is gonna come at him like a hammer. Now let's see what's over here. We've got Zerglings, we've got Hatchery, we've got a Spire, we've got 1 Overlord, and somewhere we've got a Mutalisk and a pair of Scourge. Okay, so 1 Mutalisk, 2 Scourge against now 9 Mutalisk. Not looking good. And these Mutalisks are just gonna rain down on these drones. And that's CVZ for you, in my opinion. It just rides on the edge of a knife blade until someone gets a slight advantage, and it just completely topples. And I think this was very... Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Was very like Indo's early build, the high risk, high reward, is what led to this, right? Being able to hold with just enough and have the economy to really surge this before his opponent. So GG's to both players. ZVZ's hard. Okay, so that puts who won there? That was Indo. So Indo beats Dead Dumble. Boom. Alrighty. Sweet. 3 more games. Let's go ahead and check out Indo versus Flash. I always like, it wasn't on screen, but I always like looking at the post ZVZ like recap as well, because the APMs are always just insane. Zerg players are just built different. Next up, we've got Indo versus Flash on Vermeer, the Week 2 preseason CPL map, much to everyone's enjoyment. Okay. In the bottom left, we've got Flash, also known as what, Dix Maester. Strange name. Top right, we've got Indo, our red Zerg. Don't think we've seen a TVZ match yet in our matchups, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. Now, what we did see from Indo, you know, and we also saw this from Dead Dumble as well, was, but not in last round, but like our Zerg players in this group tend to be very greedy, and so we'll see if Indo does that again. Kind of goes for some early game greed. We saw Dead Dumble. I forget which Protoss he was playing. I think it was earlier versus Iron V6. It might have been the first match we did, where he just got a bunch of bases. And I might have that backwards. It might have been the Protoss player that did that. But either way, we'll see how this one goes. Let's see if there's any shenanigans happening over here with the Terran base. Looks like he is going to wall off the natural. Very common. And I love this because there's always a debate, particularly on these maps with the eggs, on like, how do you do the Terran wall? So we'll see if he puts the barracks right here in the middle or if he puts the barracks at the bottom. I've heard arguments for both, right? He decides to put the barracks in the middle. So the chat can go wild talking about holes, because that's what we do when we talk about Terran walls. Okay, and we've got the drone coming down here. And yeah, Indo's going for that hatchery first again. Super scary. Super scary against the Terran. Because if he notices this, right, then he can just start pumping Marines, which he's going to be doing anyway. But he can just send them across the map and just schwack this. Now, what we did see last game, I know it was a ZVZ, but last game we did see Indo go into a sunken after his initial Zerglings were knocked out. We'll see if he decides to go sunken earlier against the Terran. Because if he doesn't, this could be painful. Especially since Flash is getting that first scout off. Okay, spawning pool going down. Flash sees the pulsing brain down here at the natural. I'm being told that this is super uber standard ZVT play as well. And this isn't an 8 racks, so should end up into a nice standard macro game, depending here on what the Zerg ends up doing. And generally, whether we see really successful Muta play. We'll see if he ends up going Mutas. He's getting a third hatch right now, putting it up here in the main. I'm wondering if he's going to try to hide his tech down here. Sometimes Zerg will do that with anticipation that the Terran will like scan the main, but not see this. Now this is close enough to where the creep will connect and the Terran will know. They'll be like, oh, okay, there's definitely stuff down here. But we'll see how that kind of goes. I think about this factory. Not sure if he's going a mech build or if he's racing up to science vessels. We haven't seen an academy or anything get thrown down. No second barracks, so this might be a mech build. We'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, we do have the layer morphing. We have a vulture. He's opting to keep it back here behind the wall at the moment, which may end up being a good idea as these zerglings are coming out. Now the vulture can patrol micro these zerglings really well if caught in the middle of the map. Zergling speed is about to finish though. Alright, so here he goes. He's gonna run into this wall. Marines are gonna be like, back off, bruh. Oh, he's trying to run through. Oh my gosh, I don't know if that was... Those Zerglings just yeeted themselves into a wall of bullets. Okay, and so now that's kind of the window of opportunity here for Flash to come out with these vultures and start being annoying. Alright, heading across the map. Okay, going straight to the natural. Didn't know if he was going to try to split off and see if there was a third or anything. Looks like he's just going to park out right here. We do have a couple of Sunkens being thrown down. Those are going to keep these vultures at bay, and we have an evolution chamber finishing off the wall. The spire is built down here with this third hatch. And we've shown... we haven't shown the Hydralisk, but we also have the Hydroden, and we have produced Hydras. Really curious to see how this goes. Okay, we do have Goliath starting. So it does look like we're going to be going mech. eBay, Armory, getting the plating. Yep. Alright, and the Vulture is hanging out here at the third. And we're going Goliath range as the upgrade here. I didn't see if the Vultures were upgraded in any way. Looks like he's still moving pretty slow. And we're not seeing any mines. So it looks like the first machine shop upgrade that we're going to be seeing from Terran is going to be that Goliath range. But with no academy, there's not going to be a scan to confirm mutas. I mean, it's a pretty safe assumption a lot of the times that they're going to be coming. And in this case, it's not. It's not the case. We're going lurkers. So we'll see how... I keep wanting to call him Dixmeister. Maybe I should just call him Dixmeister, but this is Flash Jr. Okay, so mutas have been exposed, but not committed to. This is actually kind of cool, right? So, Indo's showing this one muta. I don't even know if there's additional mutas, just this one. Shooting up this this vulture. This is going to convince Dixmeister that he needs those Goliaths, right? He needs to prepare his anti-air. He's going to throw a ton of money into all of the turrets within the main base. And then he's going to get hit by a ton of lurkers. Which is okay, right? But like this turret here is not far enough forward to be able to see lurkers sitting here annihilating this wall, right? We don't see an academy. Okay, the academy is going up, so we'll start having scanners soon. And we're a little bit of ways away from having any type of science vessels. What's our Goliath count look like? We've got 6 here. We've got 4 Marines. Okay, the army's a little bit small right now for our Terran player. We're going straight into Hive. Okay. Yeah, both players sitting good, I think, right now. Check these upgrades. We're about to have +1 armor for our Zerg hero here. 0-0 on infantry. 0-0 on mech, but that's about to get +1 armor as well. And we do have Siege just about finishing up. So we're going to get Siege finished up. We're going to have that out. That'll be nice to have. Okay, so now Dixmeister is knowing that the third base is getting started. The lurkers are going to really help with any type of defense needed for that third base. I think this is going to be a safe expansion. It also doesn't appear that it's triggering any type of reaction here from our Terran. And that also showed the number of Hydralisks that our Zerg player was playing with. So he may be sitting here after seeing that Mutalisk thinking, okay, where are the Mutalisks? Where are they at? I've got all my Goliaths here in the main base. Come at me, bro. I've got my range. Got my +1 plating. But instead the tech has switched. Now the +1 plating, if I'm not mistaken, is usually the trigger to move out with your mech army if it's like at a sufficient level. Like you get that +1 plating, and then you start trying to hit and take out like the third base. Like that's a pretty common play pattern. But it looks like the Zerg is actually going to be the one exercising the initiative here. Now I'm not sure what came up here. Maybe an SCV to potential expand. But it was knocked out by the pair of Zerglings. Oh, it must have been the Marine. Okay, there was a group of Marines. It looks like he may be scattering about, looking, seeing what's outside of the front door of his base. He cleans up that Zergling. All right, we're about to see a move out here from our Zerg player. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just going to take this high ground, potentially expand behind it. But there is another base up here, kind of tucked away. This is a cool scan, right? You scan this as Dixmeister and you can see both these mineral lines. Recognizing that there's no bases at either of them. And the army hasn't really been swelling up too much, but the Goliath production has remained somewhat steady. Have a good number of Goliaths. Tank count I think is what, 3, 4? We got 4 tanks. We do have, what is this, +2 plating being researched up here at the armory. So opting for the armor over offense. Okay, now here's an opportunity for Indo to potentially do a lot of damage. Now the sieging is going to help a lot with any type of defense, but the army is pretty split. So like the rest of the stuff is kind of hanging out in the main, derping its way down here the way Terran Mech does. Gosh, man. AI unit pathing is so smart. Alright, now he needs to be careful with these Hydralisks. They can't just run into these siege tanks. Alright, he backs away, only loses a couple. He's got all of this walled off with the lurkers. So, Terran's going to have a tough time pushing through anything along those lines. I hear lurkers killing something. Okay, so he's now aware that there's lurkers up there. For the low cost of 2 Terran Marines. We have the command center up and ready here in the main to float down. And we're starting to increase our factory count. We're getting up to 5 factories. We have the double armory, getting the +1 weapons. I believe there's a science facility. Yes, there is. So we can start really cranking up to +3/+3, which will be required in the event that Zerg here starts going Ultralisks. There it is. There's the Ultralisk Cavern. And we're getting the crackling upgrades right now. And it looks like our Terran player is getting his third base. This looks good. This looks clean. This looks tough for Zerg to deal with at the moment. Don't know. I didn't see any Defiler tech yet. So no Defiler tech to worry about here. Oh no. Bad pathing. Oh, and the Goliaths are just going to shoo them away. That would have been a really cool hold position. Yeah, I'm seeing that in the chat too. Stage, you agree with me? That would have been a freaking sweet hold position lurker ambush right there. Okay, he's moving up. These tanks aren't sieged. The scan has worn off. And the Goliaths are just being chunked away on. Alright, getting a couple Goliaths. He is going to lose these lurkers though. And we're not seeing much from the army down here, right? He has all these Hydralisks down here, so keep that in mind in the event that this continues to move forward, that there's a flank opportunity, right? This is like 2-3 groups of Hydralisks that can just either run in from the side or run behind into this, because he did pull those siege tanks from here. What was that, an Overlord? Sounded like an Overlord died there. Yeah, it must have been. We're sitting supply block now. Ooh, Ultralisks have entered the field, baby. Still no Defiler tech, which isn't even really required, but does make these Ultralisk Zergling pushes just so much harder to deal with as Terran. Alright, more Overlords snooping and pooping, seeing what they can see. We do have Science Vessels on the field now. Now the Hydralisks have tried to make a move. Unsuccessful, but keeping the Terran's attention down to the bottom left, right? And you're seeing that reaction. This might be actually the intention here by Indo, is get the army down here to the left, start an engagement here, and then move up with all the Zerglings and Ultralisks. This looks like, I don't know, maybe he's just staging them right there. And we saw a scan. Looks like he was scanning on top of the Hydralisks here. Now, needs to be careful. These Hydralisks are going to melt really quickly to this force. Now, this is the opportunity that Indo could really capitalize on if he took that Ultralisk Zergling force and ran them over here. Oh, he's going to drop them! Oh my gosh! Here we go. This is payback to Flash for doing the same thing with BCs that last game. Alright, through the hail of fire, the Ultralisks and Zerglings are going to come through here. And this is just so painful because, one, it's going to do a ton of damage, right? But two, even to get the army back, Terran Mech is just so stupid at running around buildings. These Ultralisks are just going to do so much. We got Ultralisks and Zerglings reinforcing. The SCV line here just getting completely wiped. We're sitting at 25 SCVs now, most of which are sitting here at the 3rd and the natural. Got super irradiated Ultralisk. This might be it for our Terran player. He's going to get the Goliath stuff here, but you can see, right? Like the traffic jam. Oh, man. This was very painful. Good move here by Indol. The Zerg recall. Yeah, Crimson Joe, you're not wrong. We're sitting here like, hey, this is an opportunity to kill the natural. Why? When all the juicy stuff's up here in the main. And so now, like, Dixmeister has come back, right? He's lost a ton of SCVs, but he's got a bank that could buy a country, right? And so he can recover from this with some good macro. The problem is now his whole army is up in the main. And we're at the point where Indol has started just taking over the map. He's got hatcheries everywhere. And he's got cracklings. And when you get to this point, you can just send wave after wave of Zerglings. And just even with inefficient trades, just throw them at every corner of the map. And it's so hard for a Terran to recover from and react to. Now the Science Vessels, you know, they do look like they have some Irradiates on them. You can use the Irradiates, even maybe D-Matrix, the tanks here, try to make a strong point. But these Science Vessels need to be flying out over the map and irradiating these Ultralisks way farther at home so that when they get to the Terran base, they've already been sufficiently weakened. It looked like we had a Greater Spire morphing there for a second. Decided to cancel it. Ooh, okay, we do have the Defiler mound up. We have Defilers in production. Lots of hatcheries. Indo's just like, I'll take all these bases, please. Please don't irradiate the Mutalisk. Okay. Runs back, rebuilding his army, rebuilding his mineral line. We're back up to 30 SCVs. Needs to keep SCV pumping on all these CCs. But he still has a pretty sufficient force of Goliaths. Needs to get more tanks, I think, to help with the Ultralisk count. But once these Defilers start getting into play, like that's where the Science Vessels probably need to be out here, keeping an eye on this army. Now there's some Hydralisks mixed in here, but I only see a couple. One, maybe two. And if you can get some Irradiates off and slow these Defilers down, that'll help a ton, because what's going to happen here is we're going to see Dark Swarm just plopped right on top of this, and the Zerglings and Ultralisks are just going to go to town. A very, very scary place to be as a Terran player facing this composition. I didn't even recognize that he had Burrow researched. I love that. Got another scan. And he found the Hydralisk. Oh, in the last minute morph into a Lurker. Very cute. A couple Hydralisks coming down here. Let's see if they'll help his buddy out. Watch this fight. There's not much happening else on the map. Alright. Securing this base for the Zerg Empire. Zerg Hive. Okay, Zergling's finding out how far they can get. Right? They know, okay, we can get to there before we start getting sieged. So the armada of overlords here, if you wanted to go the drop route. Ooh! I don't know if that was accidental or intentional, but it looks like he's loading up his overlord for another drop. Is he trying to get a Defiler in there? A few Hydralisks getting aggroed over here towards the army, chasing these science vessels. Do get wiped away. Curious to see what's going to happen here. All right, now it looks like Indo's trying to get like his control groups and everything organized. Throws down Dark Swarm. This would be a good leapfrog location for his other, whatever you call them, Defilers, to start throwing more Dark Swarms and kind of like chain them into the third base. Boom. There we go. Creating the path. Oh, I don't even think you need to hide him. It needs to consume a little bit. Need a little bit more energy, bud. Come here. Nom nom nom. Alright, this next Dark Swarm is that's gonna trigger some action. Here we go. Alright, he's leading with the Lurker. It gets knocked out. This irradiated Ultralisk needs to go away. It's going to damage all these Zerglings that run by. Oh man, the Dark Swarm just not quite covering enough. And this is a lot of siege tanks coming in here. Okay, this Dark Swarm, it's just going to be a lot. There's a lot happening here under this Cheeto dust. We've got Zerglings, we've got Ultralisks. I'm watching the supply because I can't see through this stuff. And it does look like Dixmeister's supply is just plummeting right now. We're sitting at 141 for the Zerg to 93 for the Terran. And here we go. We got the elephants just marching through, just slashing everything that they can get their giant claws on. All right. Third base successfully annihilated for the Zerg. Now, we do have these science vessels, right? And so Irradiate's really the name of the game. And this is a lot of Lurkers. Most of the Ultralisk and Zerglings have been aggroed out of the fight. They got pulled forward. They got knocked out. These Lurkers are going to be left a little hanging here, unfortunately. So they're going to go down as well. Drops. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. I want to keep an eye up here on this this area as well. Now, if you just look at the map too, we have a counter drop going on. This might be a little too late, but Dixmeister does need to get something done, right? He's been knocked back to 2 base. He has 31 SCVs, but he's going to start mining out here soon. Like, the main's looking pretty low. We're sitting at 2-2 upgrades for the mech. No upgrades for air for Zerg. Look at this. 1+5. These are some tanky ultras running around. Good job kind of baiting these 2 mutas into the turrets. Okay, now we got a drop coming here. Okay, this, I don't think this is going to do much. He needs to target down these SCVs, because the turrets are obviously observing for this. And at least 5 kills on that Lurker. I don't know if it was all from that engagement, but we are down at 26 SCVs now for our Terran player. Okay, so Indo's got army all over the place. I think if Indo is able to group... Oh my gosh, another drop in the main. The dropship play here. Everywhere. Alright, Irradiate is going to have them scatter. I think right now Indo's just has army everywhere. And if he can get them grouped up and have like a one big push, I think that might be all that's needed for Zerg to secure this game. Little fight here at the We'll call it the 9 o'clock. All right, Zerg cleans it up. We do have a CC floating away, but that's going to be observed. It has nowhere to go. And Dixmeister, Flash Jr., throws in the towel. GG. Ooh, that was a banger. All right, Indo securing his second win in this group so far. Flash JR went down in a blaze of glory that match. And so now, next up, we've got Indo versus Iron V666. Now, both these players at this point are undefeated in this group, right? So we've got Iron V666 with, what is it, 3 wins? Yeah, it looks like 3 wins. This is his last match. Oops, don't exit program, exit replay of the group. And then we've got Indo sitting at 2-0, and the rest of the matches are going to be Indo's 2. And then we also have Peru jumping in there as well. So let's go ahead and dive into our Indo versus Iron V66 match. This is going to be a Z versus P. See how this one goes. All right, let's get it. Hope y'all brought something to drink. Alrighty, everybody. In the bottom right, we've got our red Zerg, Indo, just coming off a grindy win against Flash JR. And in the bottom left, we've got Iron V666. Now, both these players, as mentioned before, are both undefeated in their group. So this is going to be kind of the decider match on who's going to end this group with a potential loss. Now, this is Iron V666's... I'm just going to call him Iron. This is Iron's last match of the group. He's already played the other 3 contestants. But Indo still has a few matches to go. So we'll see how this goes. You're sitting there sipping on a margarita, Indo? Were you sipping on a margarita during these games? Is that your secret? I hope so. It's my secret, too. That's how I end up on, you know, like 0-4 in my groups. Freshly prepped mojito. Now, the real question is are you guys still during your workday right now? If so, extra props. 0-4? That's your name? Well, don't dox yourself now. Ah, workday. Yeah, what's that? Oh no, what did he have to cancel right there? Looks like Indo accidentally, purposely, canceling a drone, having to rebuild it. Not the biggest deal, but you want to keep these larvae pumping stuff as much as you can this early game. And we're going straight into the spawning pool. So I'm pulling it up. We got a pylon going down here at the natural from Iron. That's like the first little bit of shenaniganry we've seen for a little bit. Oh, it was an extra overlord? Okay, thanks for the clarification there. That makes more sense. A gateway here at the natural. I'm trying to think. It might have been Iron that we saw. Who was it? Against Peru? Where he did this? It was like a forge expand, but like he kicked it off with a gateway and then later came back and did the forge and the cannon. Went into it. I think that we're probably going to expect some early pressure here from Iron based off the previous games that we had watched. You know what? And I bet... Wait, hold on. Second hatch at 2 o'clock? There is a second hatch. Indo is greedy. And you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if Iron had watched some of Indo's replays. I know I do that in CPL, right? Like, if I have someone in my group, I'm going to click on their name and find their replays and be like, hey, what do you typically do in this matchup? I wonder if Iron had looked and been like, okay, Indo expands right off the rip every single time. Oh, man. Okay, this Zealot doesn't stand a chance. But he is tying up these Zerglings. And he's also forcing Zerglings, right? So those are Zerglings that could have been drones that are now fighting. And Protoss is sitting here realizing that there's a ton of Zerglings being made. There's no second hatchery. What is this craziness that I'm seeing? I must be getting all in, right? So he goes straight to Forge. He's probably going to start slapping down some cannons. He's plugging the hole. Plugging the hole. That hole is so plugged with these Zealots that it's watertight. Like slap sealed that hole. But in the meantime, right, like Indo actually has already gone up to 3 hatcheries. So still aggressive, but like a long-term economic play. Okay, these Zerglings are going to get a ton of damage on this gateway. We have the Zealots in the hole, holding position. Alright, looks like they're poking out a little bit. They're going to pop off these Zerglings because he needs to buy time for these cannons to go up. As soon as this cannon goes up, if this gateway... Oh my gosh, this gateway's going to die. Oh, it goes down. Now, Indo doesn't run in and run by, luckily for Iron. I don't know if he really could have, but in my mind, that would have been the scary situation, right? Like the Zerglings come up here and just start making a mess of the probes in the main. And that gateway is going to get immediately rebuilt. Now, this is going to buy the time that Indo needs to start getting these hatcheries up and droning. So I like this play. I like this play a lot, actually. Again, very high risk, high reward, though. Alright, gateway's back up. Zerglings parked out front. Hatcheries, hatching stuff. We have a lair. We have a spire. So instead of doing any type of like Hydra bust, it looks like we might be going there. Oh, okay, so I say that, but this might just be for Scourge as well. To prevent any type of ridiculous like Corsair action. Now, we don't see a Stargate going down, but we do have the Cybernetics Core, and so we'll see after that kind of what direction Iron ends up going. But I'd imagine after the core goes down, we'll see the Stargate, and he'll probably go Corsairs. I think we saw that from him. I might be getting the games mixed up before. Okay, yeah, we got our Stargate. Meanwhile, drone count. Steadily climbing up at 17. Just a while ago we were talking, he was sitting at 10, right? So the focus here really is drones. And you can see 5, well now 3 are morphing. So these Zerglings really did a good job of going in, busting that gateway, instilling a little bit of fear in the Protoss players so that they'd stay home, tech up, build some cannons, and really be forced to play on the defensive here. And Iron, I think Iron's starting to feel like, okay, maybe you're not doing the full Ling all in. Let's go check what's going on over here at your base. And not to mention, there's no Ling speed, right? I don't think. Wow, what are they doing here? That's like my dog when I get home. Okay. These Zealots just walked clear across the map. They got one drone very quickly. More Zealots following. Iron has potential here to do some serious damage. I think even if he commits on this Sunken, he'll knock that out really fast. Oh, but the Mutas. Great timing with the Mutas. Now, it's going to take them a while to clean this up, but these Zealots can't do anything about it, right? And I don't know if maybe if this 4th one was in here on the fight as well, can take down this hatchery. Probably not. It looks like those 3 were able to do about 500 damage. This Zealot probably wasn't the difference there. Continuing to run Zealots across, though. Okay, they're coming home. That might have been a misclick or a misrally. +1 melee weapons underway. Getting the Corsair count up, but keeping them at home. Trying to build those numbers. A couple cannons in the mineral line. That's good defense against the Mutas, and will also help with any Scourge, right? So, like, the Zerg could park some Scourge here over the Stargate, pop those Corsairs right as they come out, or they could just chase the Corsairs, and giving them some cannons that they can fly to and get them off their tail is especially helpful. So that makes sense. Still in 2 gateways. We're getting Templar tech. Got Storm being researched. And right now for our Zerg player, we've got some Zerglings out on the field, but we're going to start with our Muta Harass. Now, there's going to be 3 cannons here, and that might be a little bit too much, but does end up picking off 1 probe, 2 probes. 3-4? I don't know. Corsairs are going to come here and play, and these are all a bunch of very hurt, but not dead, Mutalisks. Alright, they're going to go fly off and heal up. And the Corsairs are going to come and they're going to go hunting. Hunting for Overlords. And what do they find over here? No Overlords. But they see that there's no crazy additional tech. He also sees that there's no macro hatchery, right? So I imagine the whole time Iron is thinking to himself, there's got to be other bases. There's just not enough hatcheries that I'm seeing, you know, around here for this to make sense. Does pick off 2 Overlords. It does supply block our Zerg player. And the Mutas are in hot pursuit. Gets 1. Gets 2. And they pull back. Pair up with some Scourge. And this will give air superiority to the Zerg for sure. Oh, a DT! So even though there's Overlords everywhere, they're slow. And the Corsair did do a good job of killing a couple of them, which means that Zerg had to, you know, spend more time on getting more Overlords as opposed to anything that can find and kill this. So the Mutas are going to go hunting. The Overlords are going to come back here slowly. So slowly. And we've got our tech and additional hatcheries still being hidden up here in the top right. Now this is again risky. It's so risky. It's so far away from the rest of the main. Yeah, we got some Scourge hanging out here. In the event, Corsairs just fly blindly through it. Sitting at 8 Mutalisks right now. Got Maelstrom. Maelstrom being researched. Okay. So we're going to see some Dark Archon play. And look at the Storm availability here. A lot of Storms. Storm, Zealot, and a couple of Corsairs. Yeah, I'm curious what the trigger is here. I'm always wondering like when people decide to move out versus stay at home. And I'm wondering if there's something specific that he's waiting on. Maelstrom and Dark Templar aren't going to be happening immediately, right? He's getting the DTs created right now. He really has to wait for a full another one. Dragoon attack range is being researched. He's transitioning into Dragoon tech. Or I guess production. Droning up for our Zerg player. Getting Hydralisks. Okay. So I think Iron's going to be the one here to initiate aggression. I think Indo right now is trying to fix his economy, drone up, get his upgrades underway. I haven't seen any like lurkers or anything. We do have a Queen's Nest now though. Still sitting on lair. I love moments like this. Like, there's no fighting happening, but the APMs are still like... People are doing a lot. It's a hard game. Hatchery, 2 creep colonies, Evo chamber, another creep colony. Alright, looks like he's preparing to generate his defenses so that he can start going maybe Ultralisks. Ensnare. We're going to see Queens. Someone's been watching some pro matches. Alright, here comes the Protoss. Just slowly moving out. Not really doing a full move out. Good pick there on the High Templar from Indo. And both players really just respecting each other right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, unfortunately for Indo, the Scourge were split. So they didn't impact the same Corsair and knock it out of the sky. And so another Overlord does go down and does supply block our Zerg player. Now, we're seeing a little bit of a double move out. We might see like an open field fight about to break out. We have a control group of Hydras heading down south. We have the third base for Protoss coming up. Now, Protoss needs to keep this base. I don't know if Zerg is aware of it. I think there was a Zergling parked here, kind of like how this one is. So he might be aware that it's being attempted. But that needs to be high priority for Indo to knock out. But he can't do that if he has the entire army of Ire chomping down his natural. And also, Iron still has not scouted anything up here in the top right. All right, fight's breaking out. We got Dark Archon. I want to see Dark Archon things. Maelstrom. Storm. Okay, the Storms were good. They would have been even better if it was Maelstromed first. Oh, Hydra's pushing in here at the natural. Got a handful of Dragoons. Now, these look like some fresh Templars, so no Storms available for them just yet. One about to get there. And these Hydras look like they can probably clean up these Dragoons. Now, more showing up as reinforcements. I know Iron is sitting there just chomping at the bit to use a Storm. There it is. Boom. Right on top of the bulk of them. And that is going to defend that natural for the Protoss. Now, meanwhile, Protoss steamrolling the natural here. Zealots. Turns out they're really good. Storms. Also very good against drones. Very good. And this is just going to... Oh, my goodness. You can just hear the Zealot rattling attack going off nonstop as they walk through here. Now, what can Zerg do, right? We've got 5 Hydralisks. Maybe. We got 3 more. 2 more. 3 more. So we've got a handful of Hydralisks. We've got 4 more in production. Corsairs are running rampant. And now Iron is like, oh, that's where your bases were. That's where you had all your stuff. I'm going to kill your overlords now. And so he's going to knock out these overlords. Indo is supply blocked. And this might be a sweep of the group for Iron V666. This looks really tough to come back from. We have a few lurkers being morphed. Now, there's no detection on the field for Protoss, but the DPS is just too great, right? And the Storms are available. Oh, please don't Storm right on top of these. He does. Okay, it just forces them back, though. And he storms them up against the corner. Oh my goodness. And that one's Maelstromed. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can barely see it on the screen. Up here, Hydralisks are fighting for their life against this small Protoss contingent. And so, like, Indo's not... I was going to say he's not out of it. He's pretty out of it. He only has 11 drones. I was going to say from, like, an infrastructure perspective. But he's really way too far behind right now. So everyone, grab your margaritas. Pour one out for our man Indo. Ah, it was a good fight, though. Protoss doing Protoss things. Leads Indo to say GG. One of the first typed GGs we've seen in this group. Oh. But it was a good battle. Good back and forth. All right, and that brings us to our last match of the group. And that is going to be Indo versus Peru. So, right now, how are we sitting? So, Indo, if we go here from top to bottom, he has a win against Dead Dumble. He has a win against Flash Jr. and a loss against Iron. Right? So, he's sitting, what is that, 2-1? And so, right now, he could go 3-1 and kind of secure that second spot in the group for this week of preseason. Peru has a loss against Iron, a loss against Flash, and will be playing his last in only 3 games this week, it looks like, against Indo. So looking for that win, right? Looking for that win. That's what Peru wants. He doesn't want to go over this week. So let's go ahead and pull up that replay, and we'll finish it off strong. Now, anyone in chat, is there another stream after this that we could potentially raid of a CPL member and or CPL cast? Who are we doing? Indo versus Peru. Nothing on the calendar. Got it. We'll find someone cool and we'll just raid them. So if you stream and you're in here and you want to be raided, just let me know. Just type hashtag raid me. All right, in the top right, we've got our red Zerg, who just came off of a nail biter match against Iron V666, and he's facing off against Pepperu, also known as Peru, our blue Protoss. So he's getting a double dose of the Protoss right now. This group was 2 Zerg, 2 Protoss, and a Terran. And Peru looking for a match win in this group. Okay, sending out. I imagine this is going to be a pylon down here. Start the initial natural wall. Boom. Look at that. Look at those prediction skills. And we've got more droning. Now, if I were to guess on what Indo's going to do, he's probably going to build like 4 hatcheries, and then he'll throw down a spawning pool. All right, we've got Peru going to the bottom left. The Overlord is going to be able to catch wind of this natural. Going Overlord. So far, not a 9 pool. Still no pool, because Indo doesn't do that. He makes hatcheries. Hatcheries win tournaments, ladies and gentlemen. Falcon Paladin? Okay, I'll keep an eye out for him. Alright, so this is going to be a last scout for Peru. It looks like he's doing more of a traditional Forge Fast Expand. So not starting off with the Gateway. I say not traditional. I guess this is just what I see more often. I don't know what is correct or standard, but that's generally what I see. And then we start getting gateways. All right, so we do have a spawning pool going down after the expansion. Worker count is staying relatively even. We have the gateway, second cannon. Really protecting the ramp, too. This is an interesting cannon placement. Now, the problem... I'm wondering if there's a problem here or not with, like, Hydras shooting this gateway from the top. Now, I think they can hit anyway if they get range without the cannons being able to shoot over it and get them. But this seems a little extra far. Now, what this will do really well in protecting against is any type of Zergling run-by, right? Which is especially important when you don't have any ground units to go chase, right? But they can still run right around. So a little bit scary and interesting. We'll see how this kind of pays off. Indo building hatcheries, as Indo does. Love to see it. No army for either player as of now. Going double creep colony. No zealots as of yet. We do have a core getting started in the assimilator. Well, it'll probably go straight into Corsairs, if I were to guess. Scouting probe gets knocked out. It finally made its way over here. It did the whole long way around, hit all the other corners first. Reminds me of my scouting patterns. Doesn't matter what I do. Usually the last place. Alright, so 3 Sunkens. Really walling up here. Going straight into layer. Now, keep in mind, we haven't seen a single Zergling. There's no Zerglings. And it's funny, because this would have been probably the game to push for it. And I don't even think that was I didn't notice when this Overlord got here, but the Overlord can kind of see a good amount of what's going on here at this wall, right? He can see that all of this is available space that he can kind of traffic units through. A little bit of a bummer that the gateway pops out units here outside the wall. Just something to note. I don't know if it'll come into play, but I know it's happened to me plenty of times, and it's always been frustrating when I'm being attacked. Or I'm sorry, evolution chamber, hatchery going down. So we're going up to 4 hatcheries. Still no lings. Going straight into Spire. Oh man. A Spire is going to be devastating here. We're getting Zealot legs. If he gets Mutalisks and just flies into the main, and there's no Dragoons or anything, because there's no cannons in the main either. We're getting the Templar Archives. So really teching heavy. But not a whole lot of pressure from either player. Both players just kind of being left to their own devices. I like this Spore Colony. Because he's probably anticipating Corsairs, right? He doesn't have any Hydralisks. He's working on Mutalisks right now. But also DTs, right? This is decent DT defense. So throw the Spore down. And the Sunkens will take care of any DT that tries to sneak in. So, little safety measure. Don't know if it's the most efficient, but it's pretty hands-off. Okay, Overlord sees the Zealots. More Zealots funneling through. Ooh, and here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And look how fast they are. They're just chugging. We got Speed Zealots running across the map. Mach 5 and Mutalisks are just going to shred these guys. Oh, man. That's such a feel bad. But it gives time for our Protoss player to react, right? So if these Mutalisks sit here and they chase these Zealots around for a while, that means that we can start getting cannons up at the mineral line, right? So spreading these Zealots out, letting them kind of just run away is really going to buy time, which Peru desperately needs right now to kind of adjust against the Muta tech that he's being encountered with. All right, slowly taking out these Zealots. You know, one of these Zealots might actually run up here and accidentally scout this base. Not the case. Okay, so what's the reaction? We've got High Templar hiding over here by the cannons, trying to build up some energy. We've got Zealots kind of running out of the way. They're not going to be useful in this fight. We've got the Dragoon down here to provide a little bit of additional air defense. Actually, the High Templar went up there. Oh no, it's going to get picked off. Okay, focusing on the probes. Now the probe count is starting to drop. Now Zerg is now ahead on worker count. All right, High Templar goes down. Good snipe. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So, like, if he had done this instead of chasing the Zealots, I think it would have been so powerful. But even with having chased the Zealots, he just has so many mutas that he's able to just sit here and kill probes all day long. Not even fighting the Dragoon. Just killing the probes. 1 goon down. 2 goon down. Mutas, man. Mutas are good. This Dragoon trying his darndest. He just can't figure it out. Okay, 2 more goons on the way. It looks like we have a Corsair being built. It's going to come out, but it's just going to get shredded by these mutas. He's trying to run to the cannons. Doesn't quite get there. 17 probes to 35 drones. And unfortunately, just the offset of this gateway is trapping Dragoons here behind this pylon, which is unfortunate. He's chasing down this Corsair. Flies into the cannons a little bit, but this Dragoon is basically dead. A couple targeted shots here will knock it out, but there's almost no probes remaining. Like, this is the point where, as Protoss, you're probably thinking it might be time to GG. 7 probes. Gonna knock out the cannons, the last lines of defense. Indo, he just has that need to build hatcheries. He just needs to build them. So we're gonna have a hatchery going up in the top left. And the mutas are just gonna, I think, finish the job here. GG. All right. So Indo ended up going 3-1. Peru, unfortunately, did not get a win in this group. But next week in the new group, the current week that we're playing, I hope the best. And this was a great game by both players. Very entertaining. Very fun to watch. Let's go ahead and take a look at our overall scoreboard for group number 7. We'll update it real quick before we go find someone to raid. All right, there you have it. That was the CPL preseason week 2, group 7. Thanks so much for watching. This was a lot of fun. It's fun to watch some of the different groups. I know a lot of the streams are higher level groups, but CPL is for everybody, right? It's for if you're new, if you're learning, if you're super awesome and cracked, and everyone gets something out of it. And it's overall just a great community. So anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to go ahead and raid Falcon Paladin. All right. I think he's playing some, what is that, StarCraft 2? Oh dear. I don't know if we want to do that. Let's see who else is up and around. Not a whole lot of streams coming up right now. So we'll do Falcon Paladin, and everyone have awesome rest of your day.